residences, as there's a couple of reasons for this. So if you do go into a traditional residence, well, first of all, let me explain what they are. So traditional is like you don't have to cook, and you go and buy using your meal plan, and then they have their suite style, which is, you have your own kitchen and stuff. So I would definitely recommend trying to get into a suite style residence, as the meal plan system and a full traditional residence is not really that good. So yeah, it's definitely much better if you're in a suite. Also, for traditional residences, like, I would say the residences are pretty old looking, and the hallways are narrow and stuff, like a labyrinth in here. It's just overall much better if you're living in a suite. You also have to for suite styles, you only got to share your bathroom with a couple people, whereas in traditional style, it's your entire floor, which is 10 to 20 people, which is not as nice. So yeah, most of the time we just use our student card to pay. All of our meal plan and stuff is all on our student card, so it's pretty convenient. Anyways, moving on to the math itself here. For when you're selecting your courses, there's a really good website that you can check all your courses. It's called uwflow.com. So yeah, you can check all your courses and all your professors and stuff on there. And at the start of the term, I definitely recommend checking out all your classes and seeing the reviews, because your grades and your overall experience is heavily dependent on your professor and the course itself. So yeah, for first years in the math department, no matter what programming you're in, the first semester, even the first year, you are pretty much taking the first courses. So you're going to be taking 2 math courses, a computer science course, elective, and then communications or English. So yeah, so first talking about the computer science course, you have pretty much 3 options, I guess. If you're in math or computer science, you're probably going to do 135 computer science, but it depends. If you have previous experience in coding, I would definitely recommend going into 145. Now I'm struggling a bit, but I never really coded before university, so I'm struggling a bit. But if you know about coding and all that, I definitely recommend going into 145. It's kind of advanced version, and it's counterintuitive, but it's actually easier to get a high mark in advanced for some of these courses, especially if you know what you're doing. So yeah, the programming language we use is Racket. I don't know if you guys know about it. It's basically even I'm not sure what it's really but apparently it's C, so that makes sense. Next, let's look at your math courses. So we have Math 135, we have Math Calculus 1, and Introduction to Proofs. That's your first semester math courses. Yeah, so for the Introduction to Proofs stuff, it's it's a whole bunch of topics number theory, GCD and stuff, and also that's basically where you're gonna be learning proof techniques, which it takes a bit to get used to, but I would say it's not that hard, but you have to get used to the techniques and the way they write. One of the techniques is called induction. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but when I first learned about it, it was kind of mind-blowing. I'm not gonna explain it here, but I definitely recommend checking out these techniques, because it's crazy. If you don't know about it, and then you know about it. Yeah, okay. And so a tip for this class. So this one also has three levels. They have 115, 135, and 145. For 145, I would recommend taking it in general if you can, but if you find, because it depends on your professor, 145, I find that if you get a hard professor, you're probably not going to do that well, but if you get a good professor, then I would say you definitely should take 145. And you can check UW Flow to see like all professors, to see which one you got and see if it's a good course. But the way they do it at Waterloo is even if you take advanced, you can actually go back into the more normal section if you really want to, especially like even after the midterm, you're actually allowed to drop down. So that's pretty nice. So I would definitely recommend taking 145. And for 135, it's pretty much like 145, but it's like 145, you do more stuff, but the marking is a little less strict. So that's why it might be easier to get a higher marking in 145, especially if you get a good professor. So that's Introduction to Proofs course. And your other math course will be Calculus 1. Now this one is like much different than high school calculus, what you guys did in there. Like for high school, you know about limits and stuff, and about derivatives and continuity and all that stuff. But for university, you have to go into the actual definition, so the definition of all of these things. So that one I would say is a bit harder than the proof techniques because most people already know about a bit about calculus going into university, so you really have to think about it again. But overall, if you study, it makes sense. So this one also has 3 versions of the course, 117, 137, and 147. I personally would recommend taking 147 as well, because apparently 137 is much more work than 147, and overall, I hear that you get a much lower mark in 137 as well. But it's strange because 147 is advanced, but overall the topics are kind of the same. So that's why I recommend you take 147 instead of 137. Finally, we have communications course. At Waterloo, if you want to get a math degree or computer science or whatever, they actually require that you take a communications course or ELA, pretty sure. But I recommend taking communications. For communications, it's mostly public speaking and stuff, but the classes aren't really that big, so it's pretty chill, I would say. So yeah, communications. For some tips, I would say you definitely have to get used to talking. Don't be scared of talking, because classmates, they're your friends. So it's not really as bad as you think. And then your final course that you'll take for your first semester will be an elective. Most people take physics or economics, but overall it doesn't really matter, I would say, for your first year elective. I would say take something that you think is interesting. So yeah. So for all these courses, at the start of the semester, it's really easy to swap around your classes. So I would definitely recommend checking out each of your classes and looking at them and making sure you're happy with your schedule, bro. So now that's your classes. Now for the big thing about Waterloo, which is your co-ops. So I haven't actually done co-op yet. This is actually my first semester, if you guys didn't know. So I can't really talk too much about them, but I know the general idea. So they have their own website, which is called Waterloo Works, and that's where you find all your co-ops. And from what I've gathered, you apply on there, and then if you get selected, you do your interviews, and then you actually get ranked based on all your stuff there, and then you get hired for your co-op. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but general idea is you go there, do your interview, and hopefully you get a good co-op. Co-ops are not looking very good right now, but they should be improving, because before COVID they were really great. So yeah, co-ops definitely are the biggest reason why you should join Waterloo. I know people it's not just about the money, of course, but you can get big, people can completely cover their tuition and then some, even just from co-op itself. So yeah, it's pretty nice. So yeah, that's been my general experience here at Waterloo. I definitely recommend coming here, especially if you really want to get an advantage, because co-op itself is like a huge advantage for the job market and stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend coming to Waterloo. Thank you. If there's any questions.
What do you got, Ann?
What do you think you're gonna major in?
What do you think your major is going to be, Gary?
I mean, I haven't really thought too much about it, but like actuarian science sounds pretty nice. Also data science is pretty nice as well. So think about one of those two. Actuarian science is like you're definitely gonna be into more like the banking side, or like for working with insurance companies. It's pretty easy to get a good co-op as well, and the jobs are pretty nice as well. So yeah.
I have another question, Gary. How much
Yeah.
money would you make working as a co-op?
Co-op. Okay, like the average is like around 20, but you know
20,000 a year.
there's no 20 per hour.
Oh, 20 hours per hour. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if you get a good one, you can definitely be making much more than that. If you go onto their website, they actually have all these statistics on there, so you can actually check, like, even based on your program, you can check your average co-op, what you're expecting to look at. But like, there's people that make like, you know, if they got a really good one, they can make like 100K. Like, yeah, 100K Canadian in 4 months. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, you're getting like, you know, 60 USD per hour, and you know, co-op is you're working pretty much full time, 40 hours a week. So yeah, you can like, there's people making 100 USD, 40 hours a week, for 4 months.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still there.
Yeah.
You're thinking of actuarial math. So you want to be an actuary
Yeah.
someday, Gary?
Maybe. I mean, I haven't really looked too deep into that. Mostly been focusing on, you know, my first year courses and stuff. So yeah, but like, yeah, I'm probably gonna be checking into all of those majors pretty soon.
I have a cousin who became an actuary, and he's made a lot more money in his career than I have. And I think I'm probably better at math than he is, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. He's on his third wife, and he's been in and out of rehab with a coke problem so take that with a grain. Got to take that with a grain of salt. Anyway, Gary, anybody else have any questions? I have a couple. I wanted to ask you, Gary. You say that you have to learn coding for your coding course. Did you take computer science here at FRC?
Oh yeah, computer science, like, I would say the computer science course at FRC is like a bit easier than here at Waterloo. Like,
Yeah.
I would say you definitely need, like, it's way different. You definitely need, like, to do really well in like the advanced computer science course. You definitely need some outside school programming experience, or else, or like, it's still doable, but it's pretty hard. It's like you have to think differently. It's a bit different, yeah, in school.
How do you think someone would do in that program if they hadn't had any computer science in high school at all?
Honestly, they'll probably be doing similar to me. Like, I'm in it right now. I'm doing okay, but like, you know, you're struggling for even the assignments is a struggle. So like, even if you had no experience, I would say definitely I recommend not going into the advanced section. Like,
Yeah, that's good advice, I think. Can I ask you, how many AP credits did you have coming out of FRC? You would have had the AB. You had the AB calculus, right?
Yeah, I had AP Calc, AB. I had biology, chemistry, and computer science. So it's like not really math related, but
Now, at Waterloo, did you get to claim any of those credits so you didn't have to take the first year course?
yeah, I don't think you can do calculus. Wait, no, you definitely can. For calculus, you can.
Some every university is different. Some do allow that. But did you claim any of your others to, like, did you claim chemistry?
I claimed chemistry. That one actually let you skip pretty much 2 first-year courses basically. So chemistry was pretty nice. If you're thinking about chemistry, I would say definitely recommend doing chemistry. But for calculus, if you're not in the math department, I'm pretty sure you can skip, or not skip, but like get the credit for AP for calculus 1. But if you did BC, I'm pretty sure you could also claim one, but I would recommend.
I have a feeling not in the math department. Yeah, not in the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you did BC, Calc BC, you could have claimed it for math. But like, I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah, I think from what I know of Waterloo, Gary, one of the things that makes it unique is, like you said, it has a math faculty, whereas in most universities, like the one down the street here, math is just a department of the Faculty of Science, right? So I think I think in Waterloo, if you want to be in the math faculty, they'll make you take first-year calculus, even if you had AB and BC. But here, if you are, say, going into science and you want to go into the biological sciences, you want to major in chemistry, if you have your AB credit, you can at least skip the first semester. Well, it's not skip. You can claim the credit for the first semester. But there are drawbacks to that in some universities. Did you ever? So you claimed your chem credit?
Yeah, I think that.
And did you ever regret that? Oh no, I didn't get to take first year chemistry.
Well, I think I kind of deserved it with AP Chem.
Hey, I like that. Yeah, the department here will be very happy to hear you say that. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty nice because you actually need to like. I know for computer science, you actually even need to do your depth in another course, so it actually helped chemistry.
Nice. You guys have any? Anne, what do you got? How did you choose math, Gary? Is Anne's question.
I choose math. You know, I was gonna, go into like the whole pre-med route, but then I realized that's just not for me. I definitely want to do something with math instead. So I applied, and math at Waterloo, it's pretty nice, and it was like the best offer I got. So I took it.
Some people would say math chose them. I didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose. That's awesome, Gary. You guys have any other questions? I got one more. I want you to elaborate on something, Gary. My son's going through this right now. You ready? What do you mean by non-traditional housing? What does it mean to not live in residence?
Okay, there is residence, but there's 2 types of residence. So there's traditional and then suite. So traditional is like you're living in a dorm, you got your whole floor, and you all share a bathroom, and you have no kitchen. So that's traditional, You have to buy a meal plan, which means you have to go to their cafeteria pretty much to eat. And for like non-traditional is you have your own kitchen. You can still go to the cafeteria to buy food, and it's actually gonna be the same price. Like there's a bunch of like weird math that they do, but I'm telling you right now, it's the same price if you want to go to the cafeteria and you're in non-traditional, and you also have the option to cook for yourself. So yeah, definitely if you can, try to go into the non-traditional rather than traditional.
Is the non-traditional more undergraduates like yourself, or is it more graduate students?
I'm pretty sure for residents, I would say like 90% of them are first years. Like it's pretty much all first years in residences. Like once you're in second year, you usually live, in your own thing off campus.
Yeah, so that's what I thought you meant by non-traditional, would be people looking for somebody renting out an apartment and sharing an apartment, or somebody renting out the basement of their home, because I know there's a lot of that.
Yeah, you can definitely do that, but like for first year, I would recommend living on campus. It's like it's pretty far if you're off campus, unless you can get a good wherever you're living.
Anybody else have any questions? What do you got?
What are your chances going to Waterloo if you do really bad in math or didn't?
He kind of talked about that already. She's asking, what do you think your chances are of getting into Waterloo if you didn't do well on their math contests?
For the math department, I'm not sure. If you did even if you did bad it doesn't hurt your chances to get in. But if you did good, they'll look at it.
Yeah.
So
I think the
like,
participation matters as much as the result. That's what
yeah.
I mean.
Like if you don't do well, it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it hurts more to just not have participated. That's what I think. But they're very. I go to Waterloo and I'm on one of the committees that makes contests, and they don't tell me these things. Like they're very tight-lipped about that. They don't publicize. Yeah. They don't publicize it.
I'm just inferring based on.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do that well either on mine, but I still got in. So.
And
like,
I can honestly say everybody that over the years I've been here at FRC has done well enough to be on the provincial honor roll and stuff. I've never seen one of those guys apply to Waterloo and not get in, ever. So, and there's been at least 5 or 6 of them now that we know of, besides yourself, Garry, that have gone to Waterloo. So I guess take that as you will. That would be my knowledge on the subject, and that's as far as my knowledge goes. They're not public about that. All right, that's a good question. Anybody got any other questions?
Well, we have first shot.
Anne, okay, we got a couple, maybe one more. Anne, what do you got? Excellent question. Her question is, have you made a lot of new friends, Garry?
Okay. Like, most of my friends are not from my classes, so it's pretty hard to make friends in your university classes. I would say it's definitely more like clubs and stuff. But yeah, I made a couple from classes, of course, but it's not as easy as high school.
Okay, we got one more from Alyssa, and then one more over there. Okay, so Alyssa.
3 classes to go to clubs and
How much free time do you think you have to do things like go to clubs or do extracurricular sports, have a life?
Like,
Garry, do you have a life?
For me, like personally, I don't know if it's like a good idea, but I kind of do that stuff first, and then it kind of works out. Like the studying, it kind of works out. Like you kind of force it a bit at the end, but
We won't tell your
I would
parents that.
say, yeah, but I would say like you shouldn't like if you like focus and you grind your homework and stuff, you definitely have time. You definitely have time for other stuff.
Awesome. Okay, we got one more, then we better move on.
Have you ever stayed up all night?
Have you ever pulled an all-nighter, Garry?
I did once, but I was like, I did nothing over the weekend.
It's never a good idea.
It's not like if you split it up, it's like 10 hours in one day, or like you can do 3 days, 3 hours, which is like pretty much high school basically.
Awesome. Okay, so we better move on.
Yeah, so, thanks, Garry. I think you were.
Thank you, Garry.